Hey, good evening and welcome to the March 28th meeting of the Board of Selectmen. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And again, good evening. Sorry we're just a few minutes late getting started here tonight. We don't have a huge agenda, but we'll go through things as they are here. We have no public hearings. Any announcements from the board? Any additions or deletions to the agenda that are needed? If none, we have no appointments tonight. Any public comment?
Yes.
Bridget, step right up.
Bridget McCallum. Tomorrow evening at the library there'll be a meeting of people interested in trail development for snowshoeing, hiking, four-season use, particularly in Bennett Hill Road now where there was just 2 weeks ago a snowshoe trip that 12 people took. So anyone who's interested, whether it was Boy Scouts, environmental education classes, just hardworking people who like to clear land or develop trails, meeting at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening downstairs. Entrance is around to the right-hand side of the library. You are welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Bridget. Correspondence pretty light this week. Treasurer's reports and the ecomaine recycling reports. Just to let everybody know, Waterboro's recycling percentage for the month of February was 18.9%. We seem to hang in there. We'll talk a little bit later this evening about transfer station and possibly renaming, or at least that discussion. So, but the recycling rate has been in and around that number for, well, got to be 3-4 years now. So, and needless to say, if you want to increase recycling, there probably has to be a change, either in what we do, how we do it, and I think anybody that's seen the paper of late, a couple of big things going on with ecomaine now. Getting ready to collect food waste, and I think that was in the Portland paper the other day that Scarborough and South Portland are ready to launch pilot programs. So stay tuned on that. That may very well be something that we consider at a later date. But that being said, we do desperately need some folks that are interested in recycling and what's going on at the transfer station to come forward, and we need to revitalize that committee. So again, more to come on that later. Reports and staff initiatives. Let me start down that end. Dwayne, anything?
Said 57 budget update last week. Was 25 people, I would guess. I didn't take a head count, but yeah, in that ballpark. They brought out some good points. I don't know where we're going to be. Probably Gary's got a little more information there, but they've lost just about $1 million in state funding. I didn't really hear anything about federal funding, but state, most of it was state funding. And they're working to either cut or take out some programs, and I'm sure everybody's going to scream if my kid can't have everything going, but taxpayers can't afford everything if we got to pick up the state's funding of it. And they're, said 57 is still working on trying to get a little more funding on that, but in due time we'll hear another end of this whole story and where our taxes are going to go with this.
Okay. Anything else, Dwayne?
I see a comment on the internet the other night wherein that we was sanding and plowing parking lots before it stormed. Well, in a storm like what we had the other night, you definitely want something for material put down so that that doesn't track and pack. And I just want to say that I think the boys did a pretty good job taking care of that wet storm Saturday night, had everything bare. When I came home from plowing at 10 o'clock Saturday morning.
Yep. Tim?
Yes, I had a chance last week to ride along with someone delivering Meals on Wheels to some Waterboro residents. And that's a pretty impressive program. And I was surprised to find out that they actually have openings for more customers. So if you know someone 60 or older has trouble getting out of the house or can't get out of the house, just contact Southern Maine Agency on Aging. And there's a lot of other programs they offer, too many things to mention now, but it's a pretty amazing group. I check them out. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Tim. John, anything? Gordon? Okay, let's swing right into Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, some good news. This afternoon, I got acceptance of an offer to hire a new assessor. Shirley Bartlett is the lady's name, and we'll have more information in a couple of weeks, and I'll probably have a resume to hand out and a work schedule and everything else. It's just happened this afternoon, but she's accepted our offer to work for 3 days a week on a contract with 0 benefits, essentially the same money as we were giving the prior contract assessor. We don't know which days, but she would rather not work on Monday, the day we're closed. Allows her to finish up some existing work she's doing for the town of Madison, and she would rather be here during the times when customers are coming and going, so that's great news.
Okay.
In terms of municipal budget, we do have a workshop scheduled for this Thursday at 5 o'clock. It's a workshop, so there's no discussion with the public, but the public can certainly attend if they so desire. And let me get that one, please, too, Julie. On March 22nd, as Wayne was saying, we met with the school superintendent and business manager and had a Q&A session about the upcoming budget. The numbers do not look good at all right now, upwards to over $900,000 less in terms of EPS funding than this present year. Hopefully those numbers will change as the legislative session proceeds. The next scheduled meeting with the superintendent is scheduled for Thursday the 13th. That says March 13th, that should say April 13th, sorry, in the Selectmen's note here. And that conflicts with the EDC in this room, so stay tuned in terms of where that meeting might be. I'm not sure whether EDC will be here or the meeting with the superintendent, but it will be in this building as far as I know now. In terms of a marijuana update, we'll talk more about that in detail in the next agenda item, but I attended an all-day workshop last Friday put on by the statewide town and city managers organization, over 150 people, managers, selectmen, town planners, a few planning board members, several attorneys. Was very well presented. We listened to a former Colorado city manager tell us what's coming if all this happens and rolls out like it did in Colorado. I used the word, it was depressingly informative, and we'll get that more detail where I think we should be going in terms of what we should and should not do at this point in time in Waterboro. Some good news on the Recreation Department. They had a very well-attended youth turkey hunting seminar here recently. Maine Warden Service participated, and evidently there's a state trooper named Steve Stubbs who's an avid turkey hunter, and he helped lead the charge. They had turkey calling contests, which is always a hoot if you've ever been to one of those. And the kids had a great time. They got good information about firearm safety and turkey calling. And they hope to do something else in terms of outdoors with the Warden Service at our April vacation camp. And don't forget the Oxford Casino bus trip. The bus is not full yet, so there's still time to get your ticket. It's only $25 to go and spend your money at Oxford Casino on April 19th. And there's a bathroom on the bus too, so don't let that stop you. The bus is a little over half full, so there's still time to get tickets. And I'm just getting a lot of good feedback about the Recreation Department and how they're reaching out with our other neighbor towns and looking to do more and communicate more with our neighbor towns, and I think that's good for everybody involved, so that's it from me, thank you.
Okay?
Question?
Yes.
Did you say that the budget workshop was Friday? It says here Thursday. Did I mishear you?
I meant to say Thursday the 30th.
Okay. I'm really concerned. Thank you.
Okay. Let's jump into no new business tonight. So we'll jump into some old business. Discussion on the possible June 13th ballot question to prohibit commercial marijuana uses. Last meeting, we kind of batted this around a little bit, and whether I think the real problem the board is going to have is to get feedback from on what everybody's feeling is, and so this is certainly one way to do that. I do notice that a few other towns have committed to do this. I think that York or something, York Selectmen voted last night or whatnot to have a ballot thing as well. So I think my view of it would be to, it really is going to tell us, it will tell us something, right? I mean, right now, if you just say, well, the vote was, won by 11%, then you have to differentiate. Okay, well, how many people were really strong that it recreational use versus how many thought about, well, there's going to be a store in town or a smoking parlor or something of that nature. So those things sometimes don't come into the forefront when people are looking at whether or not we're going to legalize something. So this would be an attempt, I think, to at least get that answer. And I suppose we don't need to do this. The board can move along and make a unilateral decision, I guess, on whether we do or don't want commercial establishments in town, and then that would be subject to, a people's referendum to reverse it if that wasn't the choice. So I think if we maybe go through with this, we at least get an answer of.
I think, in my opinion, we're better off to send it to the voters, because if they say no, then we got to come up with some zoning. Actually, if it went yes, we do want it, then we got to come up with zoning to where it's got to be. And if we wait for a petition for a year behind, and then you've already got applications in and you don't have any zoning to.
Yeah, applications could be coming in as early as by the end of February of next year.
I was going to say, this is in the legislature now
Yep.
to come up with rules and regulations, and we need the zoning if we're going to allow this. So we need to let the townspeople say, do you or don't you want this in town?
I think that the state has a moratorium until 2018, so it's not like we're delaying anything or we're not carrying out the will of the voters. Putting it out to a vote, I think, is the best way to gauge how people feel about commercial use as opposed to personal use.
Yeah, it's not gonna, this would not affect the recreational use of
Right.
marijuana. It would just mean if the voters supported it, you wouldn't be buying that marijuana in the town of Waterboro.
Right.
Or you wouldn't be in a social environment, or you wouldn't be growing it.
If you was buying it in the town of Waterboro and people voted no, then they would be buying it illegally.
Right.
The
They
recommended,
could grow it, but they couldn't sell it.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
the recommended, shall the town prohibit any and all retail marijuana activities, and it lists all the activities. It's an all or nothing. I'm wondering I have, and I'm sure other people may feel the same, is that you may think okay on cultivation and retail product manufacturing, but no, I don't want stores selling it and I don't want parlors. where people are smoking it. So is there some way that people can vote and break that up? Because it's, right now, it's nothing or everything.
If you read that question, John, no. Because the definition is down below that piece, and it's including cultivation facilities and retail stores and testing facilities. It's all in the definition of,
So the way that the law
Retail.
passed,
Okay.
we can't change the law.
it's an all or nothing law, right? It's what they have defined as retail marijuana establishments. I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to see, right? No?
I think you can split them.
We
I
could?
think so, yes.
But if the law passed and it said, for definitions, that retail marijuana establishments include cultivation facilities, retail stores, retail testing facilities, and retail products manufacturing facilities, that to me would include all of that. Retail marijuana social clubs are a separate activity, I think, based on the way that that law was written, right?
Well, we need to answer that question. That's important to know.
I think a lot of it was left up to the towns.
That's what I think we're going to hear, yeah. If we wanted to have 5 separate questions there, to John's point,
Yeah.
I'm thinking that Natalie would say that we can have 5 separate questions. And we
but do
can,
we want to? If you want,
yeah,
if you're up to discouraging this in the town of Waterboro, one question.
And then if
Not
you
5,
vote yes,
Because if you bring in one and not the other one, then you're discriminating. So either you want to take it all out or none of it.
Yeah, this goes back to the infamous question when a referendum ballot fails. Was it because people wanted more money in it, or they wanted less money in
Yeah.
it? You know, I mean, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
the famous discussion, right?
yeah, and here, you may look at it and say, okay, one, as far as the manufacturing, et cetera, that is a potential of good tax dollars. And if you look at social clubs and sales and stores, then you say, okay, that has, to my way of thinking, has a potential of being more problematic. So I don't know if other people would feel the same, but I would like to break that up. So,
Well, what's your pleasure? Gordon?
I kind of agree to break it up into separate items, to give the voters,
did you say 2?
into the,
5?
the 5 separate items. I mean, it's just going to be a check off on the balance. And as far as the discrimination, I guess, I don't think you can discriminate against an inanimate object like the vote. I think you discriminate against people, or races or classes of people and so forth, but not on a question. I think this would allow the voters the opportunity to voice their opinion all the way around. There may be some that are more in favor of, like John said, the manufacturing, but they're not in the favor of, retail sales or recreational clubs.
Tell me, and again, I understand that this is opened up Pandora's box up there in Augusta, but what is the difference between a retail marijuana products manufacturing facility that may have testing facilities within it, right, and a retail marijuana testing facility? What is a retail marijuana testing facility?
Well, first of all, it's something that uses butane and other volatile chemicals and pressure to test the THC concentration of pot.
So they're testing it for those people that are cultivating it.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so how is that a retail? Retail means a customer, you, me, Ted, Julie, walks up to a counter and says, hey, can you go test this for me?
I guess Natalie's emphasis here is that it's for the retail trade.
For the growers.
Right. And they have to do this. They can't sell it until it, and there's going to be growth in the testing businesses because there's not enough of them now in these other states to fit the demand.
Yeah, I just don't,
This testing facility, the way I understood it, could not be in the growing facilities. So
right.
it may be on the same,
But I guess what I'm hung up on is.
same road, but
is-
not on the same property.
It's retail, right? The definition,
You're testing this.
it's a marijuana cultivation facility. It's a marijuana products manufacturing facility, and it's a marijuana testing facility for the retail business.
But 3 separate licenses.
Right. But they are manufacturing, growing, or whatever, for product that is gonna be sold for retail,
Yes.
all right? It's not a retail business.
The retail store is gonna be just like Hannaford's.
Yeah,
You're
that
gonna-
to me is the retail marijuana store.
Yeah. And then, the testing facility, the cultivation of it, will take it to the testing facilities before shipped to the retail.
So somehow we need to,
Yeah.
I guess I just get hung up on the word retail,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
retail typically says that you've got customers in and out,
Aren't the
right?
growers your customers though, if you're doing that type of testing?
Well, if you're, the people cultivating and manufacturing are your customers, okay? That's in the wholesale network, right? They're not selling that product
Right.
on a retail market. They would be selling it to a retail marijuana store, right?
Yep.
That I think is pretty clear. So you've got a product that's being grown, cultivated, or manufactured,
Well,
aka
manufacturing
gummy
is different.
bears.
Manufacturing will be separate from the cultivation.
Okay, so you get somebody
Making
that's...
the edibles.
Right, making edibles. So I understand that, but then those are not retail businesses. They are cultivating and/or manufacturing for the retail market,
Yes.
right? So they're selling to the retail stores. They're the suppliers. Yes,
Would they be putting retail in there to differentiate from medicinal? Because they might-
my guess is that's probably is part of the definition here, because that's one of the issues here. You can't mix medicinal, somebody that's cultivating for medicinal with somebody that's cultivating, because that was one of the issues that they brought up. You can't, because there's people in the the cultivation business today for municipal purposes, right?
Medical.
Right, medicinal. Isn't that what I said?
Oh, you said municipal.
I'm sorry.
Not municipal.
Municipal. Oh, maybe we've been talking about pot too long here. Okay, so
Freudian slip.
medicinal purposes, medical purposes. The way I understand it, they can't now have another add-on to their business that's now gonna cultivate it for the market.
Not yet,
That's right, they cannot.
Right.
That's correct.
but they're looking at them. for
Oh, sure.
So,
Well, you can see Natalie's quoting the state statute. That's why those words retail are in there, I think, because she lists all that, and on the third line down, all as defined in, MRSA 7 section, whatever it is here.
Yeah, all right.
So I think that's why she.
So maybe
used those
that's why,
words.
maybe that's why
yeah.
that word is in there, is to differentiate from medical marijuana.
She pulled it from-
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, there's too many questions here on the table, but these questions should go to Natalie, let Gary and Natalie work on this, because we may or may not be able to split this. One or all.
But she said, she's told you we could.
No, she
No?
didn't tell, that's
All right, okay.
my,
That's your anticipation.
that's
So,
my
I
opinion.
mean, we need to find out before we even make a vote here tonight, to which way we can or can't go.
Yeah, so I think direction to Gary would be, go to the legal folks.
Yep.
Determine what the language would be to, is there a consensus that we would split them?
Can we? Because I think there's an obvious cutoff between manufacturing and testing and retail stores. I suspect that people would be more on board with a store that sold pot
Yeah,
as opposed to places that, so if we could at least divide it into two, between manufacturing and retail stores.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Because I think by lumping it all together, it's just
Yeah.
going to shoot it down, but people
Yeah.
want to buy it, they need to buy it someplace. Would they be opposed to a store on the corner that sold marijuana?
Well, then, if that, the answer to that's yes, there's a whole litany of things that now have to be done by the planning board to say where is it that it can be located, right?
I mean, the pictures of these stores that we saw, there's serious security in this. You don't even get in the front door without a driver's license being shown. You never touch the product. You go over to a window and you would think you were in a, Fifth Avenue jewelry store that's behind glass. And there's some serious law enforcement concerns, and you have to have a security plan, and all those types of things obviously have to be there because tremendous cash. As I said in my memo, one little modest store in a town of 3,000 people did $45,000 on an average Friday night.
And
That's a lot of
the
cash.
way I understood that, or read that, I don't know if it was the main townsman or something, but, even a retail store has got to be fenced in like the prison, Warren's.
No, I don't think, it's not a perimeter fence, but, I
Um,
mean, that's all up to the state in terms of what they tell them they have to have. It's part of their license. We don't even know what that is yet.
So I guess we can speculate all night long here, but
Right.
the real, I guess, gist of this is, let's go see if we can split this up into, it's not a multiple choice question, but multiple, because each one's gonna be a yes or no,
Yeah.
right? And you'd have to say yes to prohibit it and no to allow it, which is the inverse of what you would think, but, okay.
Would you mind if I, for the folks back home, would you mind if I read these 5 things right
No,
here?
go ahead.
What we're talking about here is the details of what was passed last November. And I think the first thing that any town has to decide is which of the 5 following methods of local control that we want to pursue. First of all, what we've been talking about is an absolute prohibition or some or all of the 5 marijuana license classes that we've talked about. Secondly, if you're going to allow it and regulate it, have numerical license limits townwide, how many individual types of licenses you would allow in your community. Zoning concerns would be where certain types of businesses can be located. There's some serious odor problems with cultivation facilities. Local licensing application procedures would have to be from ground zero. We have nothing for this right now. And then other regulations, the setbacks from lot lines, from schools, churches, parks, etc. The buffers for odors from cultivation facilities have to be very sizable because a significant grow operation can produce quite an odor to the neighbors. So all of these come to the question of whether or not Waterboro voters and selectmen and citizens want to have a dry town. In other words, prohibiting or allowing all of those things.
Yeah, and I think as we go through this, there's got to be, people have to understand what you've got on the back of this thing is the legal exposure.
Do you want me to read this?
Well, at some point, we're going to have to make sure that people understand it, okay?
Yep. I'm happy to read it.
But you've got the legal exposure, today, and to quickly summarize this, it's still a federal felony, right? And unless something changes there,
Well, we don't have a whole lot of agenda tonight. If you don't mind.
Go ahead.
I'll just read these things. We spent a lot of time over the last few weeks studying this issue, and I'm just going to read what I prepared for the memo for the board tonight. In terms of legal exposure concerns for this whole issue, presently it is a federal felony to conduct the activities approved in the 2016 Maine Marijuana Act. This is me talking now to the Board of Selectmen. I, Gary Lamb, as the town administrator here, are giving the opinion to the Selectmen that I see no benefit in exposing Waterboro taxpayers to the many potential legal issues that may accompany the licensing of commercial and retail marijuana businesses. Imagine if Waterboro had approved a license for retail marijuana sales and then the owner is arrested on federal drug charges under existing federal law that is in place today but not being enforced. Do you think his attorney would then come after the town as being complicit in that situation? I know I would if I was his attorney. Board of Selectmen in Waterboro can always reverse a prohibition ordinance if the federal government's position changes, but until that time, I recommend we stay away from such licensing. The other main concern I have deals with law enforcement and public safety and inspections. Do we in Waterboro want smoking club businesses where customers can come to smoke pot and buy and eat THC-laced edible products, only to get in their cars and then drive home? Drinking and driving is bad enough now. Why make the roads less safe with marijuana social clubs? In Colorado and other states, marijuana-laced edible products have produced many problems, especially for youth. Let's say you buy a single candy bar that contains from 6 to 12 servings of THC. Remember, each one of these little squares in a candy bar could be a serving of THC, the chemical in marijuana. Many kids are not aware that it takes up to an hour, sometimes more, depending on body weight, for ingested THC to produce its notable effects and high. Kids might eat one square or one serving of the candy bar, wait 15 minutes expecting to feel that high, and then impatiently eat another square. 30 minutes later, they still feel nothing, so they eat the whole blasted candy bar. An hour after that, they can be so THC intoxicated that an ambulance is needed. I mean, we're hearing stories of the potency of this is that people cannot stand up when they ingest quantities of these products. They're so powerful, much more powerful than 30 years ago for the things that were smoked in college campuses. Law enforcement does not yet have a field test or an impairment level for blood THC levels. Cultivation facilities have strong odor problems, as I mentioned before, and they need large setbacks from residential areas. Marijuana testing facilities use volatile chemicals and pressurized equipment that has a history of blowing up. Wonderful. These and other aspects of marijuana businesses will consume considerable fire department, police, code office, and legal staff time that I think could be spent elsewhere, at least at this time. I could say some other reasons for why I think we should be a dry town for now, but for now I think these two are the main ones that are in front of us.
All right. So I think as we get into this, and I know Gary spent a lot of time, a couple of sessions, Tim, you went to one of them, this probably gets murkier as it goes on here too.
It's not getting any better.
Right. But I think that we at least need to understand, can we address all 5 of these aspects? And then I guess we'll, as a board, make the determination of should we present that to the board, the voters, and go from there.
Okay, I'll get that.
Okay? Anything else? Okay, review, discuss the latest draft of the TIF district map. I think everybody, if you didn't get a copy, there's one over on the table there. I thought I grabbed one on the way in here.
So Tammy and Lee J and I have been working. We think we captured the Eastward Ho aspect of this. If you look at the map, the parcel labeled 45, below the railroad tracks and below 202 to the right, that's RSD Graphics. Number 46 is Abbott Power Equipment. And there was concern about we should get the lot across the street that I think Mr. Abbott just bought from Mrs. Deering, and that's lot number 59. Maybe a little sliver of 58 that's there too. And we went as far as the side of Jellison Road, obviously. And other than that, I guess just let me know whether or not you think we went far enough, and we'll go to the version 3.0 or 4.0. This is version 3, I guess.
Do you have a rough idea of what percentage of coverage this is?
We didn't do that. You get the full tabular amount here.
2.8.
Yep, I guess that's the latest as of today. There might be 1 or 2 little parcels in there that were unknown ownership. Yeah, 41's got a question mark on it, but I don't think she included that. She got question marks there, so those are left out.
We can go up to 5, so that's like a little over half of.
Goes up to the new pole line, right?
Well, no, that's Jellison Road.
No. East, towards center.
Oh, sorry, yes. Yep. On the far left of your map here, numbers 34 and 35. 34 is the field with the First Baptist Church sign in it, and 35 is the field out behind it. So it goes to the larger of the two power lines, I guess
Yep.
we should say.
Well, the new pole line is
That's newer, yeah.
it was 60, in the 60s they put that through. The other one been there for a long time. Yeah, I think this probably captures everything, and
Well, do we want to be on Jellison Road there to the right and capture those? I'm thinking of, not completely, but largely residential lots.
well, they all are residential lots, right? '55 is 54 is the Patco property.
Yes. So that should definitely be in, because that's vacant,
And then you've got 2 or 3 residential lots there, right, bang, bang, bang.
coming back towards.
Well, where the red mark slides over those 3 lots, they're not numbered on this, but the straight line from the Jellison Road across, those 3 lots are all residential.
Yeah, I'm assuming that was just a matter of drawing a straight line. so.
Okay,
So do you think we went far enough or too far, or what do you thought?
I think it's a good place to start.
Yep.
why is 41 a question mark?
I think it was just ownership.
Isn't that the Smart Chopper?
Oh, 41 is actually Smart Shopper and the post office, but there was no parcel line on our parcel map.
Yeah,
Because he
well, I don't
owns
think
it all.
there is, I think it's all
He
one
owns it
parcel.
all.
Yeah, he owns it all.
That's where the camps were. The
Right.
new office is where the camps were. There's 7 camps there, years and years ago. Those were rental camps for the summer.
So it was never split then?
Yeah, I don't
No.
believe so.
He still owns it.
Okay.
40 is that little,
I don't know. 40 is even small.
Landlocked. thing.
no, the library is, I don't know what the little arrow is, but the 40,
Oh,
with the
that's
block that
Jim.
has 40 on it,
Oh, cemetery probably.
No, that's Jimmy Earls.
that's right.
And Leon owns 39.
So the library is
Jimmy Earls got a small
is where
house lot
40
in there.
shows today. The little white square there that overlaps 39 and 40 is a cemetery.
Okay.
But you're right, Jim Earl owns that little piece of property that's not big enough to do anything with.
Yeah.
That little tiny
There
40.
used to be a schoolhouse on that tiny school.
Yeah, I think that was originally part of a schoolhouse or something.
I don't know how Jimmy's family ended up with it, but there's a cellar hole there.
Right.
It burnt in the 47 or the 37 fire.
Well, what now is Chadman was Walker, right? Yeah, I guess. What's the next step that we do with this?
I guess we were fine. I mean, Tammy did some edits to this today and brought it, I think, Gussie did that pretty good. I guess we need to, would you want 41 being Smart Shopper and the post office to be in?
I would think so.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Commercial property, so. So I guess the only situation here is we've got 2.84%.
Because in the post office right there, you get that thrift shop, I think. also.
Right. There's a little store in there.
Yeah, we've got to do an area computation that we haven't done. We didn't finish today.
Okay.
You got one lot over there by 24 that isn't marked.
Say where, Dwayne?
24 across from Hannaford's, that hasn't got a lot number on it.
In other words, as you're looking at this map, down from 24?
Down from 24 is another lot.
Goes to the brook.
Yep, and you got the brook included in here.
All right, we'll add 41, put a question mark across the street from Hanover's and to the left of the word, the letters SMHC. Fill that out there. Okay,
Yep.
we'll bring it back and
Good.
go from there.
That's my lot. Yeah, that's my lot.
When it doesn't have a number on it.
I don't have a number on my lot.
Does it stop there?
Stops at the brook.
Stops at the brook.
Stops at the brook?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on the TIF?
Not for me.
Okay, let's go to item C. Carried from last week, talking about renaming the Waterboro Transfer and Recycling Center to Waterboro Recycling Center. There's a note here from Clint. I think Clint is somewhat concerned because the transfer station, all the licenses are under the guise of Waterboro Transfer Station and/or Waterboro Transfer Recycling. And I think the words are already there. Maybe it's just how we influence the signage, right?
I think that's a good point. We can bring out the recycling more.
I mean, certainly we can restructure the signage so that it's the Waterboro Transfer and Recycling Center, right? The thing with Clint is whether or not we would have to go and change. Well, his recommendation is to put up a big sign that says Recycling Center, please recycle. So, and I would suggest that we put DOT signs out that say, Waterboro Recycling Center. So I'm not sure that,
And garbage facility.
well, I mean,
No, I'm gonna
if
watch
you drop the transfer out of the name, then you're dropping, there's a big piece of that business up there
Yeah.
is strictly a transfer station,
Transfer station.
right?
I agree.
So,
Let's revert back and just call it town dump.
Or stump dump.
so legally, you keep it the Waterboro Transfer Station, so you don't have to change any of the paperwork. But by sign and on the newspaper, you could say Waterboro Transfer and Recycling.
Right.
Transfer Station and Recycling Center. And then you get it both done.
The signs say that today. If you look at the signs up there,
Yep.
they say Town of Waterboro Transfer and Recycling Station, okay? So, or center, I think that's what it said. So, in fact, I think his letter, line item 3, says there's a 28-inch by 8-foot sign at the entrance that says Town of Waterboro Transfer and Recycling Center. So I think it's just a matter of what we influence, right? So last thing we want to do is have him have to go back and reapply for licenses because we
Because that's
decided
all it's gonna do
to
is
change
trigger something
the
else.
name around, right?
So,
I'll make a motion that we leave it as is, and if Clint and Gary feel that there needs to be some new signage, then if there's money in the Clint's budget this year, then they can see what they've done. I'll make that a motion.
Anybody want to second that?
so again, I'm not sure I heard it, Dwayne. What you're saying is keep it as a transfer station? That's primarily the motion.
Transfer and
And-
recycling.
And then if you want to put money
And
into signs and
maybe
stuff,
put
too.
some
Yep.
effort on the signs.
Okay, I'll second it.
Okay. All right. Any discussion on that? Bridget, you had a question or comment? Or?
Can an amendment be made to his
Yeah.
motion?
Yeah,
I'll just ask you later, I don't know where this all came from, so I
Okay.
don't have background.
well, it came from last week, last meeting. Gordon brought it up, there was some conversation about, if you want to drive recycling, then you need to call things, a recycling center in lieu of a transfer station. So I think we all fall into this category. I mean, we talked about, some of us still call it the dump, some of us call it the stump dump. But the fact of the matter is that it's not just a transfer station, it's a transfer and recycling station. So I think really what we kind of have dug out, that we need to influence the recycling part of that.
Yeah.
Not take out the transfer station part.
Yeah, I don't think, we take the transfer station part out, the licenses and everything, license a transfer station, right? I mean, we
It is a
transfer.
transfer station, you're dreaming if you take it out, I think.
Gordon, did you have a,
No, I was going to see if we could make an amendment to that when the signage comes out, that we emphasize strongly the recycling wording, so that we can send the message into the community that we're very strong on recycling.
right,
And, because that saves the town quite a bit of money.
was that your intention?
Bring it back here.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the signage, in my motion, I said that it was up to Gary and Clint to come up with new signage if needed, and that it also include the recycling end of it. But if there's no money, we're coming into the end of the year, and if there's no money there, then we need to just kind of table this till we've got, because you're talking $500, $600, $700 here for just signage.
Well, we'll make some suggestions and bring it back to you folks.
But,
Right.
and if we're going to get this recycling committee back up and running, I don't think the selectmen need to worry about the signage, because they're going to probably want some newer stuff and education and whatnot, and I think they can take care of that if we can get a committee started again. It may take 6 months to get this up and running as good as it was 5 years ago, but
So do we have an amendment or not here?
I don't think we need one, I think the intent
I would
is
draw
that
money.
to influence,
It's covered.
the signage should,
Duplicating it.
the signage should prominently display that that recycling is a major part of what's going on up there.
Okay,
Right.
and this will be emphasized in the minutes of this meeting, so if there's any questions about this in another year or
Right.
so.
Is everybody okay with that? All those in favor? Opposed?
9-0. To leave the name as is, and Lamb and Clint will bring signage ideas back to the board.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. Item D, I don't think we're ready to vote on anything of the budget. However, if we want to, instead of, suggestion earlier from Dwayne was instead of adjourning this meeting, we recess this meeting, and after the budget discussions Thursday night, if we want to vote, then we just reconvene the meeting and vote on those then. And if everybody is,
might take 10 or 15 minutes Thursday night to vote on anything that we feel is done.
ready, right.
And
So if you want to leave that way, then we'll do that. The intent is that we meet again next Tuesday night, exclusively on the budget. So we can take that into an account then.
I like the idea of us being able to act on stuff and start moving on this.
Right.
I am a little concerned about people thinking that it was not advertised and we're making decisions without people knowing, having an agenda.
Okay?
well, it's on the agenda tonight, and if we wanted to vote on it, we could tonight. and it's been advertised that way. So all I'm saying is we can continue this meeting till Thursday night after the budget
Discussions.
discussions.
Yeah,
There'll
I
still
think-
be public hearings.
There's
Right,
still
and-
be-
Right, and we're still gonna.
We're still gonna have public hearings on everything, but that is going to say that the selectmen voted 4-2, or 4-1, or 5 in favor of all of the budget questions, or one at a time, and if we think we need more work, then we just won't vote on that question of money on Thursday night, and that way, that section of your budget is done, and we're moving forward.
Right,
If we think we need to continue the
and if we don't
discussion,
have a
then we
vote-
will continue, we will,
and if we don't have a vote, all we gotta do is reconvene the meeting and adjourn,
Yeah,
and the meeting's done, and then, or we extend it for another week, but we can always do that too, but,
it's a legal way of continuing the meeting
Right.
for Thursday night.
but I think we do need to start to vote on some of this stuff and put it to bed. Matt was gonna come back to us with some things, so,
I have those numbers.
okay.
They'll be in the budget on
so the
Thursday night.
workshop will be Thursday, and we'll be doing whatever we do in the workshop, and we'll be making a decision in the workshop. We wish to vote on this, and this.
Right.
Convene the meeting,
Right, vote,
keep it,
reconvene the meeting,
you reconvene the meeting and vote on it, and
right. and then we-
Somewhere between 6 and 7 o'clock,
Yep.
Thursday night, we will reconvene this meeting.
Yeah, and I think we would have to post that,
yeah.
or change the posting that we currently have, which should say that there's a budget workshop, right? But if we don't adjourn this meeting and we just
Continue.
suspend it or recess it, then I think the posting will say we will reconvene tonight's meeting after the workshop on Thursday night to discuss and possible vote on sections of the FY 17-18 budget.
And, of course, we're voting on the less, on the budget that is less controversial.
Right.
So,
I don't understand what that means.
I don't either.
I would hope that by either Thursday night or next Tuesday night, this whole budget is done.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
could I ask him to explain?
Would it explain the less
Well,
Less-
let's say more controversial would be the higher ticket items. I mean, the fire and rescue, the roads, I mean, the big ticket items. Some of the things that don't get a lot of concern year after year, get those out of the way.
Okay. And we could do any or all of that.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Bridget?
Question, if you vote on those items Thursday night, does that mean you have then said below, selectmen approve, whatever it is?
They
that is-
recommend. It's our
Recommend to
recommendation, yes.
pass. Recommend to pass or not, that would be decided Thursday night then?
It would be recommended the amount, which would become the warrant article,
Okay.
okay? And then I would assume that we would go through all of the articles once it is in article format, and then we would vote, recommend to pass, or,
That would be the final vote.
right, that would be the final vote. We'd go down through them all, but we would have an article assigned to it then. Right now, we're just,
And would that have had a public hearing before you
yes,
do that?
we will definitely make sure that all happens.
Before that? She said before
Oh.
that. I don't think it would be before that, probably after that.
So the budget committee.
Well, there will be a
recommendation-
reconvening of the Budget Committee and the Board of Selectmen to discuss any discrepancies. I think we agreed to do that with them, right? So
Yeah.
that would be discussed. That would be a public meeting. But the public hearings on the warrant would be after the warrant is finalized and recommended up or down, right?
That's for the public to decide
Right,
what they
that's
want
right,
to then vote.
right.
You've already done your recommendations and the budget
Right.
committee's done their recommendations. And it's on the warrant.
Right. Okay? So if everybody's good with that,
We're gonna, just so that Sherry and I know, we're gonna schedule another meeting for next Tuesday, a voting meeting. I think that's smart to do.
yeah. Yeah, then we
I
just
will,
don't
I will
hang it.
make that a motion, when we get
Just
down.
to schedule a regular
Regular.
business meeting to address budget approvals, or how does it say? Budget, yeah, FY 17-18 budget section approvals.
Be April 4th.
Right.
Same time, 6 o'clock?
Right, we'll start that out with a workshop. We said 5 o'clock, right? That we would meet Tuesday night. And then by 6 o'clock, I would think that we should be ready to convene the business section of that meeting, right?
So that's for Thursday night, but for next Tuesday?
That's what, Tuesday's what I was
Same
talking
thing,
about.
5 o'clock.
Right.
I just
5
want to be
o'clock.
sure I'm here.
What are we gonna accomplish Thursday by reconvening that we aren't gonna be able to do Tuesday?
Because we're gonna have more budget discussion next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I guess, other than, you're right, I mean, you could say, well, let's do it all next Tuesday night.
Wait, Thursday night, if we decided that we all agreed and everything was kosher, we can approve as a selectman Thursday night, the whole budget, and we can cancel Tuesday night's meeting.
Good.
But
You okay with
right
that?
now,
Yeah, I'm okay with
tonight, we need to schedule that so that it's posted
Right.
that we're going to have a meeting on April 4th at 5 o'clock. Workshop and, have a regular selectmen meeting for
Right.
4.
I think you're asking for trouble.
Why?
For those people who want to argue anything, what you're doing is probably legal. But if the expectation is Tuesday is when you're going to do that voting and you go ahead and vote some through on Thursday, it just seems like why? What would you save in a few minutes of time that you might then have to hassle with some people who want to hassle?
We've already got it tonight. We can pull this all out and be here till 9, 10 o'clock and take that budget and approve everything tonight because it's on the agenda. All I'm
Right.
doing is recommending that we postpone this article and continue our meeting till Thursday night. We're gonna continue this meeting after the budget meeting for Thursday
I'm
night.
just giving my opinion. You can have a meeting, but if you vote on things, it could seem.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Now, the purpose of the public hearing isn't for us to hear from the public and then let that affect our decision voting on the budget, correct?
We have a very specific charter requirement that says this is how the budget will be put together.
So the
Our
public,
recommendations are final, right? Certainly, anybody can come to those discussions and express up or down why they think that we should be doing something different. And we can take that under advisement and listen to it, or we listen to the budget. I mean, Budget Committee is here to make that recommendation to us. It boils down to now, are we in agreement with the Budget Committee or aren't we? So I don't see getting into a public negotiation over what a budget should be.
I just want to be clear
Right.
that, and then the place for the public is for them to decide how
That's
they
exactly
want to
right.
vote on the articles that we voted on.
Right.
Excuse me. So when is your you mentioned earlier another meeting with the budget committee. When would that be? Thursday night or Tuesday night?
Well,
Or both?
when we get done, we will have a meeting with them,
That's
okay?
what I wanted. I
No
lost
sense of
it.
pulling them all, I mean, a few of them have been at each one of our meetings so
they
far. So when we're done and we're ready to, and we made those recommendations, then I think it's a matter of sitting down with them and saying, okay, this is why we did what we did.
Gotcha.
And I think they're gonna know that anyway, because Donna and a number of them have been here, so,
But
I
they
just
know
don't,
about Thursday, they'll.
right, and I don't wanna get into what happened last year on the town meeting floor where everybody thought that, we were doing something different. We have done that. I became a selectman in 1983. We have voted the same way that you cannot raise the amount of money on the townhouse floor since then. So I don't know why it was news to everybody last year. Because most of those people that were talking about it come to town meeting every year. So I think we just need to get through that. And it's time for me to go, I think, knowing that I've been around this long. All right, so everybody's good with, okay, Dwayne has a motion on the floor to schedule a regular business meeting next Tuesday night. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
Okay. And it will be after our workshop discussions commencing at 6 o'clock. Okay? All those in favor of scheduling that? Opposed? All right, motion carries.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
I did.
Yeah,
Tim.
Tim did.
Thank you.
All right,
Now,
other discussions tonight.
is there still a motion on the floor about Thursday night to,
Not, no,
Not
I mean,
till we
we,
adjourn, go to adjourn.
right. That will be discussed when we go to adjourn tonight. Okay?
Are we open to anything for discussion?
I think so, once we we get to that point. Okay. Other discussion, item 11, discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the March 16th regular meeting.
So moved.
second?
Moved and seconded, all
There's,
those,
there's
any,
one thing on that, and that's the old Alfred Road. State aid road. It's listed as state aid. That is not a state aid road.
Where is it? Budget, marijuana.
was in the minutes?
I know there
Is
seems
it on
to
the
be,
agenda, did it just come up?
B,
B and what number? Oh,
8,
8B.
8B.
Yep.
Where is that under?
It's under 8B. 8B
Well,
is
that's
in
what,
boy.
I asked them that question, we can, what do you want, how do you want that to read?
He contacted MDOT regarding Old Alfred Road being a state aid road. Well, that was the question, right? Of asking them if it's being a state aid road.
We own it. We've got all the jurisdiction on anything that goes on down there as far as commercial vehicles over that road.
Well,
State
that-
has no jurisdiction on what goes over that
Well,
road.
we need to sit down with them, I guess, because that's 180 degrees from what they told me.
yeah. I distinctly remember when the director of the Department of Transportation was here during those discussions that we had on that road, that we were gonna take over that road, but the state retained ownership of that road. He stood right there and said that, and
Remember, they say it's state-owned, maintained by us.
Right. It's
And
because
that-
it was
and
part
that-
of the,
part of that maintenance
Right.
was that, what's that fund that we get, the rural something?
URIP.
Huh?
URIP.
URIP, yeah. And that's so we.
So the definition, I think, to Dwayne's point about the minutes, Gary informed us that he had contacted them regarding Old Alfred Road, okay? So I think that was the definition we were trying to find out, right?
I asked that question.
Okay. So I don't think the minutes are wrong. I just think that we haven't resolved that issue.
It's clear as mud, I'll tell you right now.
So the minutes, I think, correctly are stated, other than that.
I don't want somebody to come back here in 5 years and say, oh, no, that's a state aid road, because
Well,
it is not a
he-
state aid road.
Yeah, because it went on to say the statute reads that MDOT has sole jurisdiction. So that's an answer that we have to get. Right? So I'm not sure that the minutes have to change.
Or you could just put the word weather in and
Right.
that would clarify it.
I need to get a meeting in person with David and myself, and maybe one of you folks to go talk with the right person, and I don't even know who the right person is at the moment, so.
Okay. So do we want to change the minutes or not? I'm sensing silence means no. So,
I'm just wondering how much more of a right person there is than the Director of Department of Transportation. That was down.
well, he was head of the urban compact zone group or whatever, the group that determines where the urban compact. I don't know if he wasn't the director of Maine DOT or certainly wasn't the commissioner, right? I don't know what, but we ought to go pull that. Let's go pull that video.
Got any idea what year we're talking here?
Well, we've had it for three, well, we raised, it was probably a year before you came on.
So, okay, 2012.
Yeah, 2012 or thereabouts. I'm sure Dave might be able to pull that
Challenge
up.
the IT department.
Okay, let's pull that. Okay.
Probably in March or April.
Okay, so those in favor of approving the minutes? Okay,
5-0, thank you.
5-0. All right. Now, let's get to week's action list. I guess you're gonna have a couple of things, right, to take care of?
Advertise for Tuesday.
Yep. And the agenda items of, okay, my question is, I don't know if you guys, I got one in front of me, but Gary's performance appraisal. If you can get that to me, I'll put it together. We're supposed to have it done in March. If it's a week, it's a week, but we'll schedule an executive session. I would just soon prefer to do it on the 11th. Let's get the budget behind us, because all we're really gonna do is review the input of his evaluation. So if everybody's okay with that, I mean, I know his contract says by the end of March, but 11 days is not gonna make or break it, right? So,
After the meeting on the 11th?
right. So if you can get me the sheets,
I left mine at home, but I will get it to you.
I'll put it all together in the matrix, and we'll go through it like we have in the past couple of years. Also on next agenda, I believe the charter says that the Board of Selectmen have to appoint the assessor. So that should be,
The CEO, that time of year too, isn't it April? Every year?
I'm not sure, but we ought to put whatever appointments we need. But I know that I think it's just, I mean, you hire them, but ultimately we have to appoint.
Yep.
Okay? Anything else on an
I
agenda?
got something for the agenda, but
Yep.
might stir something up. I think we ought to discuss whether or not we would want to have, there's a question before the legislature right now, as to whether or not we would want to have, or the townspeople would like to have, a casino in Waterboro. Because the topic of discussion up there at the state level right now is whether or not York County should have, be allowed to have a casino. And so I think it's a good time for us to look at that. If nothing more, if it says no, then, potential investors are gonna not look at us at all. But if, the question is that they would be receptive to it, then I think that that would open some eyes on, investors' part, and they might start looking here. And it may be a good opportunity for us, because I know the debate on casinos and so forth has been hashed out long and hard by a lot of these other communities, but I know that Bangor and Oxford are doing well with that, and they certainly get a lot of people. I mean, it's evidenced by the bus ride up there, so.
So let's put an agenda item on, I guess, to discuss York County, because if the legislature doesn't do anything, becomes a moot point, right?
Well,
So-
it's now, they get signatures enough to go to vote in November.
Are you saying we ought to vote, ask the voters in Waterboro to vote in June on that question? Or are you just saying discussion here among the board?
Well, I think that may be part of the topic of discussion for the board, but I certainly don't think that it's premature at this point, because, they're gonna be looking around for potential locations. I know that back before Biddeford was, seeking it out, and I just think it's a good way to offset or get something to handle the tax base in the community, so that, the whole burden of everything, education and roads, isn't, the burden of the homeowner and the landowner.
How about at the next meeting, I don't want to certainly create a whole bunch of work, but let's find out what would be involved in presenting that to the people. I mean, the last thing that we want to do is to run a referendum and just as an exercise, right? I mean, it's got to have some validity to it, right?
Be a non-binding question.
That would get
Right.
people to town meeting.
Right. So let's find out where
Be a town meeting.
where it stands with the state, because you're right, they did there is a petition that was submitted, right? Or signatures that was submitted.
Yeah.
So then the question is how do you define where in York County does it go?
Yeah.
Because all the municipalities have to declare whether they would support or not, right? So,
In general or within their towns?
in their towns, I think.
I need to read that.
Well, the town has to agree, right? Because
That's the way the last one
Biddeford
was.
had a referendum and they approved, had it gone through on a statewide level to have another casino, Biddeford had voted to approve it being in the city limits of Biddeford, right?
It says
Likewise, in Scarborough has voted 2-3 times not to have a casino, right, at the Scarborough Downs, which has just now been sold. But
So we're running out of time to have a question on the ballot, so if
Right.
that's Gordon's point, I just need to know that, whether we're talking about a question on the ballot in
Well, I'm
June.
thinking it should be on the ballot, but I'm only one of 5, and I think that the board ought to discuss it first and hash it back and forth.
Just seems a little cart before the horse because the
I was
state
gonna say, I
hasn't
think you
voted.
jumped in the cat.
Huh?
I think you jumped in the cat because it's gotta pass through the state first. Whole state's gotta vote on York County.
right.
York County hasn't supported it in the past, which is sad, but because it's revenue and doesn't take into the school system, but.
Well, let's at least get what information that we can bring so that we're not talking about throwing a referendum out to the people that becomes an exercise in futility.
I don't understand what my homework is.
I can agree with you, Gary.
Well,
Tell me what you want
I
me to
just
do.
don't
I guess
wanna
my
see us
question is
vote.
that, does it matter? I mean, what is the process to say when a municipality should put their hand up and say, yeah, we want that in our town? That's what I'm looking for, is if there's not a procedure that says, or, I understand that it's a statewide vote whether or not to add another casino. When does a municipality say, yeah, we want some of that?
I mean, I think the municipality can do that anytime. I mean, you could do this tomorrow and say, and so it just kind of gets out there that if you're looking, if the state okays putting a casino in York County, then the people that are working on it said, oh, by the way, Biddeford and Waterboro said would like one.
Yeah, the dilemma that I have when you say that is that, okay, if we present that to the people, the first question is, well, where would it be?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay? Where in town are you thinking about putting it? I don't know, right? I mean,
That would be up to the investors to look at the land, but I think there's a lot of available property, expanses of property in Waterboro. That could be done.
I don't think we have the roads for it.
yeah, I mean, I can't imagine that somebody would say, hey, let's bring them up Route 5.
The ideal place for that, and 117 is a truck road, is Catholic Homes, major acreage off the far end of Chadburn's Ridge, and they would build the road off
to
117, and 117's already been built by Poland Springs, and that's the truck route from the turnpike. And when they look for these casinos, they want a direct route off the turnpike to the casino, and that's what they was looking at down in Scarborough, and they was also looking at
Biddeford was going to be on a day road there or something.
As of Monday, I believe, they had a public hearing, and they are in the process of starting the spur out of Gorham off the rotary.
Right.
It'll be a major project, and it's probably 4 or 5 years away, but that spur is coming to 202 in Gorham.
I don't want us just to be sitting on our duffs and have a missed opportunity, for the town.
So I guess that's the question is, do we need to do something so we don't miss an opportunity?
Okay.
Okay? All right?
I mean, it'd be nice to have
people all wound up.
it'd be nice to have busloads of people coming into town versus us getting on a bus and driving out of town.
Well, you're throwing gasoline on the fire here too for part of the population, so.
Part of it, but I think there's a lot of people that would make a lot of money, a lot of landowners, people that want to invest in hotels and motels, type of thing, and restaurants.
Yeah, go down to,
But,
Go down to,
that's a discussion item for later.
go down to Connecticut and find out how those small towns think of what happened in Foxwoods. It's like, be careful what you ask for.
Yeah.
All right, so we certainly got enough on your table. Need signatures for the minutes. Reminders, Dave will run them.
I got something I'd like to mention
Yeah.
before we recess.
Okay, go ahead.
For any veterans and their families, it includes, children and grandchildren, there is going to be a informational session on Agent Orange exposure if you serve time in either Vietnam or the Korean conflict, because there are very, very long-term effects that, because of, how it gets into the system and is transferred by blood and so forth, that, what possible consequences there could be for your children and your grandchildren. So it would be, what they call it, abnormalities that derive from the exposure of the veteran in those particular conflicts. They also say that there's some stateside, so I don't know if that had to do with where it was manufactured and people were exposed to it there or not, but basically it's if you served in Vietnam or Korea.
When is it?
It is Saturday, April 8th, from 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Hurd School in Waterboro, in North Berwick, and that's right there on Route 4, just before you get into the town proper. It's right there on the right. And that's where it's going to be. And this is free to the public.
Okay? Anything else, folks? Yes, I would entertain a motion to yes, I'm gonna use the word suspend this meeting.
I'll move to extend this meeting to next Thursday, or this Thursday.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Opposed? We will not adjourn then. We will reconvene on Thursday.